I have a question for you all. A not so hypothetical scenario.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Step one, and this is going to be scary, so stay with me. Imagine you're me.
Oh,
I hate this. Oh, no,
wow.
why is everything so high? I can't reach the top shelf. No.
All right, I was just about expecting that. That feels normal. Have we gotten the requisite short jokes out of the way?
I could have more, but go on.
Okay. Now imagine you're me, and your mother is my mother. That being a 70-year-old Italian woman who was raised Catholic. General repression type stuff there. And you're planning to have to visit her, right? But because of bad weather, she's like, oh, you know what? Why don't you stay home and you and Maya can do what's the term? Netflix and chill.
Nope.
What do you say back to her in this scenario? Do you tell her that's not what that term means? Because she might be saying it to people.
No, I mean, you just respond, LOL, parentheses, lots of love.
I had to rip the Band-Aid off and just tell her. Because I cannot let my mother be out here saying to people that she might be Netflix and chilling, because that's what she thinks it literally means.
You should just tell your mom she has Riz and see what happens.
I know what Riz means, but I'm still just like, it feels like everyone started saying it suddenly. I know it's got history, but still.
I think my mom would hate Riz more than Netflix and chill.
Riz is one of the first, like, young people phrases where I'm like, if I said that, I would be the how you doing fellow teens image. I'm like, I can't get away with Riz.
It's like the first I should say the first, but it's the big like Gen Alpha slang that started to actually cross over into our world.
Yeah, like Gen Z slang, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be out of place using it, but I can get away with it. But Gen Z slang, I'm like, nah, I can't be here keeping up with your skibbity toilets.
I think that skibbity toilet is really funny because I can imagine getting invested in something stupid like guy in head toilet because I'm the kind of person who loves stupid stuff like that. But I'm also like, that's the Gmod, man.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing here if not skibbity toilet? That's... All right, so as you can tell, this is the first downtime of Season 11. We're going to do it a little bit differently this time. We're going to mix up the formula. So from the beginning, Dice Funk has had... Actually, I think since I took over, I guess Season 1 doesn't count, we've had these kind of downtime scenes where players talk mostly to DM-controlled NPCs to advance their storylines and kind of get a sense of what you're doing when you're not stabbing and setting things on fire. This time, I wanted to do a little experiment because we have so many players on the season, and sometimes they don't get to interact all that much. And so I wanted to see what would happen if we had player-to-player downtime. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to kick us off, get us started with a little example to how I'm thinking it's going to flow. But before we start, does anybody have anything they want to say, anything they want to establish? Because we just finished the first two arcs, so the audience would have heard them back to back.
Austin, my only question is, do I have to have signed the PvP user license agreement to be in this episode? Because
I was going to say yes. Like, is this one of those things where we are going to be walking in and there's a possibility that someone's going to be, one will be leaving, the other character is going to have to be re-rolled? Is that the plan here?
Longtime listeners know that anything and everything is basically on the table, so it's not completely unprecedented for one player to nuke another player's character. Usually we try to be respectful about it, but it's happened before.
I roll to just kill Boyce immediately. Die.
Oh no.
Just on site. Mongoose on snake. No words exchanged at all.
Just, it's like, it's time to save or suck. Let's go.
Yeah, but so the audience would have heard the first arc, which was, the first vibe check was very, very good. I loved doing that one. And then we had the crab arc, very funny. And so everyone's coming home to rest. I'm going to start with Hialeah's downtime and level up. It should be fairly obvious from context, but we don't use experience points. We do what are called milestone levels. So everyone will be at level 6. So everyone's even. So I guess if we do start swinging, you have an evenly matched opponent. But Hialeah is taking a level in Cleric, as I foreshadowed briefly during that arc. So she's a level 5 fighter and a level 1 Cleric. And I got to pick what kind of Cleric I was. And there was a couple of different choices. That could have been something, life and death are 2 different domains, which makes sense for a tree that can let you bring back the dead. But I ultimately went with the grave domain, which sounds almost interchangeable with death, but actually I really like it because it's kind of the liminal space between life and death. It both has healing and killing magic. So it really represents, it's almost too on the nose. I worried is like, this is going to seem like something, that was made for this character as opposed to just an option from the book. But for a character who is open to resurrecting people or keeping them dead, having this magic that is basically either or between life and death is very apropos. Obviously, her deity is the banyan tree. I think last we saw her, she was like kneeling in front of it, swords thrust into the ground, and she kind of goes to sleep. Treants are not quite like mammals; they don't have the same like sleep needs. But she kind of rouses from a rest and has a bunch of vines like growing over her sword and body. If we talked about her weapon before, it's like this amalgamation of a bunch of swords she's collected. It now has like a wooden sword made of bark that has been added while she slept. And so she's gonna, walk back to the gig, the hotel on the island where people wait to have their loved ones brought back. And she's gonna look for Barbella, who is a paladin, because she has some questions about religion to ask her. She feels the power emanating from her holy item. This focus that you get as a cleric, which is this banyan blessed sword that has been added to her weapon. I should say, as being this kind of cleric, I get a couple of spell slots. I get something called Eyes of the Grave, which allows me to detect undead. I don't know if this is going to come up, because I don't know if Quinn's planning like zombie enemies, but I do think there could come a point where if I need to know if someone has been resurrected, maybe that will be something. This could never come up in the next 40 episodes, but this is just an ability that comes with the cleric. Also, she has something called Circle of Mortality. If someone's downed, when I try to heal them, I don't need to roll for it. They just heal as much as the spell can heal. So literally, I'm like master over like the line between life and death. Another thing is I can use Spare the Dying, which stabilizes someone, both as a bonus action and at range, which neither can normally be done. So I decide who dies is kind of the effect of this.
You're edging the terminally injured.
Yeah, I'm really a little freak about that line between life and death. Or I'm like thinking about going down that path. I'm only on level 1 cleric. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, my big tree lady goes back to the gig and starts looking for Barbella. And that's the end of my level up. So once we hear what Barbella's level up is, we're going to have these 2 characters meet and talk for a little bit. And then that will be the first of 3 cross-party scenes.
So, for Barbella's level up to level 6, first of all, thank you, Austin. You were very nice to me and let me have a cool new thing. I now have a new weapon that is a crab leg. I get to keep the crab leg, and I'm now going to hit people with my family crab leg, because it's not needed for reattachment, therefore it's mine. It's a family heirloom now. So that's a +1 weapon, it's a crab leg. I also have a feat, thank you, Austin. I now have Savage Attacker. I can re-roll melee weapon attack damage once per turn. So I can make sure I'm not whiffing too badly on actually doing some damage when I hit.
Yeah, you thank me for the feat as part of a level up. Something I let players do, because we don't do loot or money the way most D&D campaigns do, or traditional D&D campaigns. But I let everyone pick either a feat or an item. So for Hialeah, I just got a +1 sword represented by the wooden sword that she woke up and is in her bundle. So that's it. But you got a feat, so that's cool. Yeah. It's more characterization.
Exactly. I also at level 6 start getting Aura of Protection. So Whenever me or a friendly creature within 10 feet has to make a saving throw, I can grant a bonus to the saving throw equal to my charisma modifier. I have to be conscious to do it, so I can add currently a +2 to a saving throw for someone within 10 feet of me. So I'm just helping make sure people don't get hurt, get a bit of extra HP, and I now know branding smite. So I can get in some holy sounding magic now.
Yeah, and your crab leg spear is like a +1 upgrade bonus, but I think it's also like has been augmented in some way. It's not like just the discarded leg. It probably has some kind of like metal, like what's the word I'm looking for, like core or some kind of other thing. I don't know. You can describe it because I think it's going to be like your signature weapon going forward.
Yeah, so I think that like there's definitely been some kind of metal core inserted into the center of it, and it's on a handle now. And I think the way it's set up is with like a two-hand handle, so that it can either be traditionally speared or swung like a sword, and it's not going to be a slashing weapon, but you can sure do some blunt damage with it if you really put both arms of weight behind it.
Yeah. So we're going to establish some things about the gig. This is the one shared area between the parties because first of all, dry team cannot breathe underwater. I guess wet team can breathe above water. I think I may have said to the opposite. That's not true. Everyone can breathe on land, but just for the minimal complication, this is like the one area where I think that would be cool for the characters to interact. But we should paint a little bit more picture of this hotel, because I'm picturing when you walk onto it from the island, it's actually pretty upscale. Dan, I know you had some thoughts about this from your hotel experience, but it's supposed to be like kind of luxurious because most of the people who can afford to come out here to get like someone resurrected are like relatively well off, or like have some kind of patron or church or kingdom behind them. So it's like pretty nice, and it's only when you go downstairs into the basement where it gets like danker and seedier.
I don't think if there's like a potential month to year long wait time, you'll want to be in a Motel 6 for that period of time.
Yeah. But that's something I'm interested in, like working out, because I think there is kind of an evolution from this is like, oh, here's the premiere experience, please enjoy your stay, to like people playing cards and shooting each other with spear guns or whatever in the basement. So where is Barbella of these kind of two areas?
So I think Barbella is up on the surface half of the gig. I think there is a multidisciplinary faith room, as you might find in like an airport. But the way that I picture this is it is in those airport ones, it's usually the blandest room possible to be like any religion. You can just sort of imagine that this is a bit more like what your thing is. I think Barbella has taken some pride in coming up here regularly to, every time she finds out about another religion, carve out a bit of the wall to be like, here's stuff for that one. Like the whole room is just a collage of, there's a lot of religions circling the space.
Oh, interesting. So do you have any proficiency in that? Because I don't know if I've actually rolled for my premier proficiency, which is calligraphy. So I feel like I would just come up while you're carving and just like start helping you wordlessly and maybe even roll for that.
Feel free to help. Barbella does not have any proficiency in this. This is a, I feel like everyone should have a space to feel like they've been seen, even if Barbella does not have the skills to achieve her vision.
Yeah, so I have something called the fire rune, which doubles my proficiency with my tools. So my calligraphy is actually going to be a +6 as I walk up, and I'm going to roll this 21. Quinn, as a neutral arbiter, what do you think about this?
So you're just trying to put your mark on it, or you're basically putting your scripture up? This is your Martin Luther hammering in your doctrines to everybody?
No, it's not a political statement like Martin Luther. It's just doing the marginalia, the illuminated manuscript stuff that the monks would do in religious texts.
I mean, 21 is astounding. It's very delicate and done with astounding care. You're an expert of your craft.
Cool S.
How is your flourish on this? I mean, calligraphy is such a deeply personal and like elaborate process? Is this something? I mean, you're a tree, so I guess maybe you're just fine with like sitting in one place and working. But like, what is Hyalia's thought process?
So there's a lot of tree imagery in religion to start off with. We're not breaking any ground here. We've in Dice Funk, we've indulged in it many times. The Kabbalah stuff in season 4, the Norse stuff in like season 7. So 6 and 7 had that. So I think she's just trying to make this like a beautiful mural. It's not like convert to banyan tree or die, scum, which would be too intense. If anything, I think it just shows a reverence and a curiosity.
Yeah. I think during this, Barbella is gonna come over and say, hello. Welcome. It's nice to see someone else in the space. That's some wonderful work you're doing over there.
Oh, hey, you're the riddle newt. What was it? Some kind of it's like a big worm.
The riddle snake. The riddle snake. Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's wild. I didn't realize until I started talking that I was going to be dismissive. I thought I was going to be respectful. Why am I like this?
Well, we all find our faith where we find it. I find mine from a very intelligent being, and you from a tree. I don't think Barbella was intending to be dismissive either, but I think there's a little bit of playful dismission.
What does the snake think about the tree? Because the snake guards the well, and the tree can check people who get thrown into the well. Is there a connection?
I would like to think that the two are like fairly compatible religions. Like the way I am imagining this now is they might have both at one point been offshoots of the same religion. They're both fundamentally part of the process of resurrection became a religious belief. There might be a bit of rivalry in sort of where that focus is.
And if maybe they're not compatible, there's another term for a meeting place of multiple religions, and that's a war zone.
Oh my god. There's a motif in medieval manuscripts called the paradoxian tree, which is sometimes portrayed as being formed of snakes. Ooh. I'm putting this in the chat now. Laura and I did not talk about this before, but it occurs to me that the banyan tree with its prop roots all stretched out like snakes, and then having this big snake underwater. I don't know. I'm not going anywhere particular with this.
I was getting like a pathologic vibe where it's all like these are two separate entities, but in fact the roots of the tree become the snake underwater kind of energy. Yeah,
interconnected.
Like, yeah. It's like they're not even in competition, but they're actually in concert. But we can't figure that out until we get to the true ending on the third playthrough of the campaign.
Austin, didn't you say that banyan trees they start off as like vines or something that constrict other trees?
Yeah, they're called stranglers. They're propagation roots. Oh, like constrictors, like snakes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't a vine basically the plant equivalent of a snake? Maybe the banyan tree is just the adult form of the juvenile rattlesnake.
Or the opposite, a bit of the banyan tree broke off and became the rattlesnake, and now it's got a life of its own.
Well, that's a seed, right? That's a seed, right? A seed falls into the water, grows into the snake.
But seed can tell riddles.
Then I guess it murders some other unrelated god tree, and then the cycle continues.
These beautiful different religion myths about the same thing. We don't know which one's the right true one. Ooh.
See, what I want to know is, like you said, it's a parasitic tree, right? What did it kill to become the current banyan tree?
It's funny, I have an idea about that, but I actually don't know. Quinn has all these secrets. I don't want to step on her toes, so we gotta be careful about what we say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having made that sort of slight joke in response, I think Barbella is gonna catch herself and go, Now No, sorry. It is genuinely wonderful to see you here. As you can see, this is a space for all, and I appreciate your visiting.
Is that a leg? Are you carrying around a leg, ma'am?
Barbella looks around for a second, confused, and then remembers. Oh yeah, it is a leg. It's my pop's leg. New family member. It's their leg.
Hylia pulls out a scroll, starts taking notes. Just interesting. just carrying around a leg, huh?
Well, I found the leg. Some big bad banana boys took it. We got the leg back. It's now my leg. Apparently, legs don't work. Like, you don't just like put them back on and then they're back on. So I have a leg now.
That's the weakness of the flesh organism. I, of course, could have a limb grafted on. It wouldn't even be a big deal. It wouldn't bother me at all.
That's what takes to get
Sure,
gains
get
here.
good scrub, I guess.
Have you ever seen the back of the rattlesnake? Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Have you ever seen the rattlesnake? I've seen my tree, is the thing. So I'm just curious
is
if you've
this?
seen your guy.
Are we having a competition about religions and who's got more evidence than a deity? Is that what we're doing? Because I can do that. My holy text was a gift from the riddle snake. I have this thoughtfully laminated for my aquatic lifestyle.
It handed it to you, like in its mouth?
I mean, like, it's a big snake. I'm a small being. It came, deposited the book, and then off it went.
I'm imagining you picking it off the seafloor and just being like, the riddle snake has gifted it to me.
Look. I'm not gonna say that, like, this was a couple of feet away interaction. It might be a book fell out the sky. I look up and something was leaving. It's like, you brought me a gift. Thank you, riddle snake.
Okay, but yeah, so I think Hylia says, so you've seen it. Have you ever seen the back of it? Because now I'm curious if it's connected to the tree.
What do you mean, it's back? It's got sort of like fins along the back.
Like the end. Like
the
one end is
end.
a head. I think we can all agree on that. I'm talking about the other end.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it have two ends, I'm pretty sure.
I really think that's a thing you could be certain about if you tried hard and you believed in yourself. I feel like you could reach certainty.
Hey, brain stuff is hard.
Why is Hylia such a dick? I did not know.
Yeah, you're just making fun of someone with poor memory now. Your religion sucks, and it sucks you can't remember your god well enough.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still learning about the tree. I've been meditating about it. You can see it reached out to me, and she shows you her bundle of swords, and it has, like kind of the vines and roots growing around it, and a new wooden sword has been included. It says, so I've kind of got phenomenal cosmic powers. It's not like a huge deal.
I need to ask you now, have you seen the other end of your tree?
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, fuck.
My, how the tables have turned.
No, that's what I'm worried about, because I don't know how far down it goes. There's not, like, a layer of, like, impenetrable rock, like, in some other biomes. Like, it's just plants, and then ocean, so...
Well, sometimes the mysteries are the things that keep us, give us things to ponder in religion. Having things to sit with and meditate with is part of faith, We don't have all the answers, and we sometimes have to look to slightly cryptic riddles to ponder the answers.
Well, as a writer, I love ambiguity. I think it's a very powerful tool. But market research shows that people prefer definitive, solid answers. It's very comforting for them. So there's this tension in writing, in the industry.
You say people prefer like firm answers. I don't. I like the riddles.
Damn. Oh man.
I like having to do a bit of thinking with my religious answers. I like a little brain teaser where I gotta find the answer.
Looking at your heaving, bulging biceps and being like, "Yeah, you look like a thinker."
Look, I'm just glad you looked at the muscles and not at the wall of Barbella's attempted riddles that is in this room, which contains such half-finished riddles as, how many spiders have legs? 8. It's almost a setup and payoff.
With the 21, I'm calligraphing a really cool looking spider that kind of incorporates like a tattoo cover up, right? So it's like still there, but it looks like it's just like a background detail as opposed to there just being a half finished riddle on the wall of the hotel.
Yes, I think Barbella comes over and has a more sort of close look at what's going on and goes, look, I know I'm joking a bit, but it is genuinely nice to meet someone new up here, and if there's anything I can do to make this space more at home, let me know. I do try and keep this place as communally focused as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to pitch in. I think I have room turn down shift. Do you want to help me clean up some stuff?
Sure, why not? I will need to stick to the jobs where I'm not going to get anything too damp. Like, I could clean the bathroom. I probably shouldn't be like turning the sheets over because the skin's gonna leave them a little damp.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was that's what I'm trying to transition into here is discussing like different duties people have here at the gig because there isn't like an active like service economy. So I was just thinking, well, how could people help out? But yeah, being on bathroom duty because you're wet hands and get everything's damp.
Well, I mean, like on top of that, like Barbella actively has like magic around the creation and control of water a little bit, so I think it makes sense for her to be like, hey, I can just stand in a bathroom, close the door, spin around magicking water everywhere, and then like open the door once like the big deep clean is done. Just do a little spin cycle in there.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes we have on this show where we create like a capitalist nightmare, and I ask everyone, how are you going to overthrow this? This one is actually, I think, a pretty cool situation where everyone is pitching in. I think this is a pretty close to a communal living situation where everyone is responsible for the one big building. So I like that we have bathroom duty. I think Hylia, as we walk out of the chapel area, says to you, you said there were birthday banana boys? What was that?
Oh, I struggled to follow it. There were people, they had a little banana pins on them. They beat up, I think, some crabs, but maybe the crabs beat themselves up because they were trying to do crimes against the rest of crab family.
Crimes. Yeah, crimes. Tell me about this. True crime is so hot right now. She pulls out a huge inkwell. And that's us fading into the background as she's trying to pump you for details.
I want to very quickly give the context. Most of what Barbella will give you is, I found the crab leg. I tried to smell where the crab leg was coming from. I walked in circles following the crab leg.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't even matter if it's true or useful. There are no ethics apparently in true crime podcasting. I don't know if you've all seen the news.
I'm well aware of the horrors.
Okay.
I know the horrors.
The horrors persist, and so do I.
I'm just picturing this like you're talking about true crime. We're off to kind of take care of some true grime over in the bathrooms right now. So
I'd like to point out that Austin, you went, oh no, we've got a real community thing here, and your character has multiple times talked about market research and the profitability of what you're recording.
I do. So I started off thinking this character is going to be a kind of self-insert, just kind of like, it's like a pretentious writer person. But like, I can't do it and not become like self-hating. I don't know what the instinct is there, but I'm immediately turning the venom on myself. That it's instinctual. So weird. Someone send this fucking recording to my therapist. But that's the setup. That's the first of 3 downtime scenes I think we're going to do here. So I think whoever wants to go next can jump in.
Okay, so next up, I will just kind of share what Boyce is doing for their level up. Boyce is, for reminder, is a Water Genasi wizard, an Order of the Scribe wizard, and they took wizard for their 6th level, which gives them a new feature called Manifest Mind. So the Order of the Scribe wizard has what's called an awakened spell book. It's basically like a spell book, but with an arcane mind in it of some sort. And at level 6, you can manifest it as a spectral object that's almost like an extra, like mild familiar type thing. And it looks like in Boyce's case, it's going to look like an ever shifting series of like outlines of blueprints for schematics and stuff like that. And what it has a few main benefits. The big one is that it is able to communicate with Boyce what it sees and hears, and Boyce can cast spells from its location as well as his own. So it basically gives like a lot of extra flexibility and stuff. In addition to that, I did pick up a feat when pressed on like what to go for, and the feat I grabbed was let's see here, gotta go my features. Elemental Adept with a focus on acid damage. So if Boyce casts a spell that does acid damage, it could ignore resistances and treats all 1s on damage dice rolls as 2s. And effectively, Boyce, most of the time spends his time when he visits the gig kind of underwater in like the tavern area, like just in a quiet corner, having a drink and working on like possible proposals for buildings and stuff. But today, Boyce has been sort of requested to visit I would say a friend. I think that in this case, Boyce knows of the person that they're going to visit and has been there a few times. They're heading on up to the dry side of the gig to visit Lillian, actually.
And that is a beautiful segue to me talking about my level up. Lillian is once again a bard of the College of Drama, which is just some reflavorings to the College of Spirits, technically. And for today's level up, still bard, and that includes getting a new spell that is, I'm calling it Pull Back the Curtains, but it's technically Dispel Magic. And also, looking here, I also got a new feat called Skill Expert. It's the things that I picked for that are I got +1 to my intelligence score and proficiency in investigation, because I feel like Lillian's starting to get the general idea better of like what vibe checking is actually going to be like and what like needs to be done for Fair to do a good job. And then I also decided to pick expertise in acrobatics, because I feel like jumping over fire and not falling in the ocean make for some good reasons to justify that expertise. And then the last thing right now that I got for my level up is a feature called Spirit Sessions. I'll describe that a little bit. Using your spiritual focus, you conduct an hour-long ritual with up to 3 willing creatures and temporarily learn 1 spell from any class, which counts as a bard spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of bard spells you know. Once conducted, you can't conduct another one until the start of a long rest. And I was imagining that as a kind of reflavor for the drama aspect of this subclass, that instead of spirit session, it would be rehearsals for the plays that Lillian puts on in the nice lounge theater dining area, like on the top side of the gig.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention, Boyce also got some new spells. Shatter and Haste are the spells that I picked up at this level for Boyce. But yes, And on the premise of like rehearsals and such, I think Lillian might have contacted Boyce to come up and just like check over like the set design and such. Whether or not it's like up to code or whatever else, I guess we'll figure out when we get rolling in the scene here. But what does Boyce see when they kind of enter into the area?
So you're gonna see this like the mental image I have for like it's like a dinner and a show type place. Like I'm imagining it like you've got the nice tables and this nice stage. It's not like a full on theater, but it's kind of like I have a picture from what I think is something from the Caesars like hotel from Las Vegas. And I'm just going to pull that up real quick for reference for you guys.
Oh, wow. That seems about right. That's appropriately lavish, I think.
Yeah. And Boyce, you're going to be heading to the backstage area because the curtains are drawn right now and Lillian is getting things prepared. You're going to be walking in on fair, like kind of like not rushing around, but you know, like getting things set up. Like you've got these like big props and like painted sets like half put together so far because Lillian, what Faye does for the performances that Faye puts on like pretty regularly at the gig are things that I like to call one Faye plays, where I put on a one-person performance of lots of different kinds of plays and musicals, and tonight's performance is going to be Alice in Prismere. Because when you walk in, you're also going to see that Lillian typically wears a masquerade mask that's like your basic like one that you would like see at like Mardi Gras, but this time Faye has a different mask on. I'm moving my cat. I'll repeat that. Faye's actually wearing a different mask than the one that that I introduced them with, which is one that has these big rabbit ears on the top, because as a part of my level up from getting that magic bunny item from the first vibe check, I've decided to make it a mask of the unlucky rabbit. And I'm just going to pull that up real quick. Inventory. This is the first time I've ever made a custom magic item on D&D Beyond. It gives a +1 to my spell save DC, and it also carries the unlucky effect that Quinn described last time. If I let it affect me 3 times with unluck, I can turn one roll into a crit, and then can't use it again until another long rest.
It was fun listening over that the prior episode and finding like, yeah, you can't just like fail at picking your nose 3 times. That does you gotta have it has to be meaningful failures here. Let's
Yeah, you gotta shit your pants.
Look, failing to pick your nose is pretty serious.
Some people that would be a success.
It could be serious if it means you like pick your nose and then like poke your eye out somehow.
It's just like the worst way that something could fail.
You could Homer Simpson yourself and put a crayon right up into your brain.
That's the worst anyone's ever done it.
Amazing.
But that made him super smart.
No, removing the crayon made him super smart. Putting the crayon in turned him into Homer.
Oh, that's
I had
right.
to put it back in
Yeah.
at the end of the episode.
It's like a weird like Flowers for Algernon moment, but with a Flowers for Crayola.
But yeah, that is what Boyce sees when they walk in is Lillian with the new mask trying to get Alice for Prismere set up.
I would think that like while Boyce is around, you know, up there, they got like a some sort of like wider brim hat, not necessarily a cowboy hat on. They got like their vest, which I'm guessing, based on your depiction of it, Sarah, is like a high vis vest, just like. But then they have like a duster coat that they are wearing over their shoulders, arms out through the sleeves, and it just sort of almost looks like a manta ray sort of backing as they move around and such there. But as Boyce enters the backstage, Gaudy, their spectral, their Quantrix, Gaudy, their what was I gonna say? Their fractal familiar is slithering along with them, and then alongside they're flanked on the other side by this ever-shifting series of like schematics and such as they just sort of immediately start taking in the set design before even addressing Lillian initially, just being like, oh, okay, let's see, this thing properly supported, okay, double, okay, triple. Oh, that nail needs a little bit of a touch up there. Oh, hey, Lillian.
Oh, boys! Welcome. It is good to see you and your little floaty guy. I am so sorry. I am been a little frazzled today getting everything set up. What was his name again?
This little fella here. It's just Gotti, Just don't pay much mind. They're just taking a look around, and as you'll see, Gotti just sort of just phases through the set pieces, just moves around slowly, just taking in the scenery, just minding its own business there. I'm always impressed by how much you put into the set design for these one-fay plays you're doing here. It's admirable to say the least.
Oh, it's nothing. I used to have to do this kind of work all the time back at the Treehouse Community Garden Theater, the one back in my hometown.
Right. I think you mentioned that to me before. I mean, was that still a one-fay operation when you were doing that?
Back then, no. It was me and my whole family taking care of it, but I was still mostly the set designer, and sometimes I would get to be on stage. But I do love to paint and put things together and make sure it all looks beautiful for the actors.
Well, I mean, listen, you've been doing just a great job so far. Excuse me, one moment here, and then Boyce peeks their head around one of the items, and then you can almost hear the sound of a little bit of hammering as the Boyce pops their head back there was just a nail that was a bit too far out for standards. You can the tolerances are about you can do 1 to 2 millimeters. Once it gets to 5 millimeters out, that's technically a hazard. It could cause some tearing of fabrics and stuff, and you wouldn't want anything like that to happen backstage, even if it's just by yourself. You got to make sure that the ambiance is not interrupted by even the mildest of mishaps.
Oh, absolutely. That is why I love when you can come visit and help me with this kind of stuff.
I'm not so good on the artistry side of things, obviously, but it's always good to see crafts work that is just of a high caliber at any scale here. But yeah, so do you know what can you tell me about the show you're putting on for this?
So the show that I'm going to be putting on is going to be a classic tale, Alice in Prismeres, about a little girl who goes to the Feywild, a long-gone realm full of magic and mystery, and there's a rabbit that she's chasing, and she just can't reach it.
I see. So you're going to be playing as both you're going to be playing as both the chaser and the chasee in this case, then, or?
Oh, yes, I will. It's going to be a little difficult to choreograph that, but, it's never stopped me before.
I'm pretty sure you could possibly maybe use some of your native magical stuff, maybe something illusory to sort of fabricate a second entity on stage when necessary. There's probably some ways you can weave some of that in there, I would say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could use some of my special effects to put some minor illusions out on the stage and, act along with that.
Right. Very fascinating. But yeah, it's most of the stuff looks here pretty up to code as far as I can tell. 1 second here. Boyce then just sort of goes down and gets out on a knee and just checks another item. It's yeah, this thing here. 1 second, and they sort of gesture fingers along and effectively uses I would say a shaped version of acid splash to sort of erode one of the corners of something that has just a bit too sharp of an edge. It's you gotta be careful about the assembly. You gotta be careful. You gotta make sure these things are safe for assembly and disassembly there. Make sure things that are put right back to where they are. But oh boy.
Just Lillian nodding their head solemnly, like, oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's been so. How's everything else been for you while here? I mean, you're obviously doing some other work while you're out and about. I think last time you mentioned you were getting involved in what, vibe check-ins, what it said?
Yep, it's a vibe checking world for me and Hylia and Stranger. We are doing a great job so far of getting people through the process of making sure that they can come back to life. One of the greatest things that you could ever do for someone.
Right. Greatest things, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of my best friends I brought back to life with that.
Right. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you're going to have to run that name by me. Who was that person again?
Needles.
Right. Cactus person. What were they?
Mm-hmm. She's currently not here right now because she's busy with her study and stuff, but she's like in the gig somewhere, I believe.
I'm pretty sure I might have seen them around at some point, but yeah, I mean, obviously being under the waters here and being around the likes of Barbella, we're keenly aware of the rattlesnake and the well and the possibility of that. It's just something I haven't really put too much thought on for my own sake.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's weird that you say that sort of the best thing you can do for someone, because at the very least in my case, I guess the best way to say is that, 1 second, and as Boyce continues talking, they just go around back behind one of the set pieces and tries to continue talking while doing some more like hammering to fix some stuff. I have, well, what are your thoughts if somebody were to basically say, don't bring me back?
Just Lillian has a bit of a pause, and then I guess Faye would say something along the lines of, oh, well, I don't know why you wouldn't want to come back, especially if you're not dying of old age or anything, but I guess if someone wants that, then it would be bad to bring them back, but I've never really thought about that before.
Just a curiosity on my part. I came here with someone very close to me, and their name was Ollie, and when their time came up, it probably was a bit earlier than some would have expected. They were not advanced in age or anything, but they were aware of the well and the rattlesnake and all that, and as time came close, they just told me point blank, no matter what, just don't bring me back. Just allow me to rest afterwards. And so it makes me kind of curious about just those who, if there might be the case where somebody might be bringing someone back who doesn't want to return.
Just first of all, I think Lillian kind of looks like contemplative, and then like looks at you with kind of like not concern's not the right word, but just like, like it looks like Faye feels a little bad for you. Is just like, oh, that must have been really hard for you to lose a friend like that. I don't think you ever brought that up before in the time that we've known each other. What makes you think about it? Is it because I'm working in this training now to do the vibe check-in?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I mean, like, it's not to say that I don't think nobody should ever come back. Wouldn't suggest that in the slightest, but it just makes me contemplate just thinking on my particular situation and kind of what I'm all here for. Yeah, and I'll assure you, please don't feel bad on my part, Lily. I appreciate the concern, but not strictly necessary. The best way I could describe it is that when I was with Ollie, it was always great making them smile, making them happy. And when the time came, I think the way the best said it to me was just, hey, boys, make sure that you keep doing what you did for me for those around you, you know? And so instead of trying to bring them back, my sort of goal is more about trying to do what I can in their memory. And so they're never truly forgotten.
Well, that is a beautiful sentiment. It is why we tell stories. It's why we entertain people.
Mm-hmm. And it's why. Oh, what? 1 second. Sorry, Boyce. Then conjures up a mage hand to reach up and kind of like screw in one of the lights in a little bit more tightly from above, just like. It's also why we make sure that all of our fixtures are nicely situated so they don't accidentally fall on stage and cause a mishap or worse here. But yeah, don't mind my idle thoughts too much, Lillian. You got to focus on your show for everyone here.
Oh, I don't mind them at all. You are a delight to be around.
Well, thank you kindly there, Lillian. Now, I guess, do you still need to do a dress rehearsal before the big show, or are you feeling pretty confident about your performance?
It never hurts to do a dress rehearsal. You never want to be unprepared for getting in front of an audience, even if you've done it a million times before, like I have.
Well, if you don't mind, I would kind of like to just sit in on it and just kind of make sure that the show goes nice and smoothly then.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'd love to have an audience before I have an audience.
All right. I picture at this point it would be like a segue to the performance itself going on, or at least the dress rehearsal itself going on. I'm not sure how we want to handle if we want to do any roles for this. I don't know. What's everyone else's thoughts on this? But
yeah, I figured either like rolling for this or this being like a good transitory point out toward the next scene that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Either one.
Performance check. Get that failure early.
I just like he was like, I'm gonna choose to have this thing fail automatically. Just all of the attempts to fix the stage just fail at the same time, and everything falls down on the set. Oh no!
Just for the heck of it, let's see what this performance role would look like. All right, 21, not bad. Nothing breaks.
Everyone thinks you rule.
Yeah, it's a great performance. I mean, like.
Now let's see the carpentry check to see if the stage
Gosh,
collapses.
what do we do? A carpentry check in this case here.
Dexterity?
Carpentry is an actual like tool proficiency, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the tool.
Yeah, and Boyce doesn't have carpenter's tools. They have calligrapher supplies, so they can do like checks up. But
it's just a flat D20.
Let's roll a flat D20 here. That's a 19.
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna have to pick up carpentry tools at some point here. Boyce has a high vis vest, but they have not gone through their due diligence and training when it comes to actually fixing things.
Lilith doesn't need to know that.
Boyce is an architect, not necessarily the builder.
Yeah, this is they're designing and interacting some of their hobbies, but thankfully they did not kill Lillian with messing up the set design. But yeah, I would say that's a pretty clean setup there.
So I guess where will this be? I was thinking that we're probably in like the back rooms of this expansive hotel somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I can open up. So I am playing Stranger once again. He is a Circle of the Moon druid, and he is now level 6. Yeah, that's it. I get a couple of things at this level. Number one, first, the feat I took is war. What is it? Hold on. Okay, the feat I took, Warcaster. So I have advantage on Constitution saving throws that you make to maintain your concentration on a spell when you take damage. I can perform somatic components of a spell, even when you have a weapon or shield in both hands. I'm just still going to use the lantern he has hanging from his shoulder for flavor, but effectively I can cast spells and use a shield. And I can use my reaction to make an opportunity attack to cast a spell that has a casting of time of 1 action and targets only that creature. I am fluffing this as Stranger has realized that this job is going to be relatively dangerous. because he's going to have to physically fight things in this this alternate dream state sort of banyan tree reality. And he has been preparing himself by like incorporating some of the leftover building materials that he has scavenged from the shed he is now living in, like in between his vines to construct a shield. Like he's got a rusty trowel maybe into his right right chunk of vines that make up his right arm, just sticking out. He's beefing up his body with a little like a hermit crab almost. He's building his own home around himself. In a way. What else do I get? I got the spell Erupting Earth, which is basically the druid equivalent of a fireball. I pick a zone, 20-foot square area, and the ground just kind of explodes. As well.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's a cube, so I'm launching, I guess, the debris up into the air, and then it just fucks up the ground entirely, and it's difficult terrain for a while. So that's fun. And the main draw of this level is that as a Circle of the Moon Druid, at level 6, all of my beast form attacks are now magical and overcome resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. As well, the key feature of Circle of the Moon Druid is that I get higher level animal transformations. I believe by standard you can only ever get up to 1 if you're CR1 if you're a non-Circle of the Moon Druid. I get to go all the way up to 6 potentially. Currently, I am at CR2, which includes an Allosaurus. So I can just turn into a dinosaur now, or a pumpkin version of it, if I so please.
And for anyone who doesn't know about a CR, that's challenge rating. It's basically how tough it would be if the DM decided to throw it at you.
Yeah, and that's about the gist of my level up. Would you like to share Strangers first and then go into the scene? Or not, would you like to share Reapers first and then go into the scene?
Yeah, we all have characters with weird little names, so it's easy to mix them up. Yeah, so Reaper is level 6, and she has taken her 6th level with Monk, which means she gets an extra key point. But the thing I'm most excited about is she gets a little extra Shadow Monk ability, and this time she gets Shadow Step. So as a bonus action, Reaper can teleport 60 feet to an unoccupied space that she can see that is in either dim light or darkness, and then she'll get advantage on the first melee attack she makes before the end of the turn. So essentially my character can teleport through shadows, which is an insanely cool thing. I believe the Shadow Monk is supposed to be flavored like a ninja, so it's supposed to be like ninjas moving through it, but just channeling the darkness is kind of cool enough. And I'll also note that Reaper took the feat Tough, because she went down twice in the last arc. So she's very frustrated by herself, and she's put extra time into training her fortitude. So now her HP is significantly higher.
Yeah. So I guess where this scene is taking place. So this is a pretty big hotel, and of course there's going to be all sorts of back rooms in it for, storing stuff for like big events or conventions or what have you that aren't in active use, or boiler rooms, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm also considering, if I can throw this out there, this place, because it's like floating in the water, is probably in a lot of ways in a constant state of repair, right? Like
Yes.
Maybe this is in like the scene is taking place in kind of a closed off wing that is in more desperate need of attention, that isn't really open to the public. Like if you've ever been to Ellis Island, there are parts there that you cannot go in without a hard hat because there is concern that it's going to collapse.
Yeah, I think we've established there's really only one handyman that works on the top side. So yeah, the idea that there are sections that just like they haven't gotten to yet is, I think, a good touch. So I imagine that Reaper is in that area because nobody should be in there, and she likes private places to train.
Mm-hmm. And I think Stranger is finding himself in this area, for one, because he likes to wander, and he is potentially maybe hearing potentially hearing Reaper calling out her attacks and is wondering if there's a ghost.
Shadow step! Just over and over again. In my mind, she is teleporting from corner to corner of this room, then like resting for 5 minutes, and then doing it all over again.
Yeah, maybe that's occurring, and she takes her latest shadow step, and Stranger's like leaning against the broken door of I guess the maybe this is like this was a former like honeymoon suite that has fallen into extreme disrepair.
Yeah, there's like a sign that's like live, laugh, love. That it's broken. It just says live anymore at this point.
A heart-shaped bed that Reaper's like karate chopped in half.
Yeah. Oh, it's all sorts of fucked up.
My, that's a fancy move you have there. You
What?
enjoying yourself?
What the fuck are you?
I'm a stranger.
What does that mean? Is that your name or what you are?
Isn't that what a name is?
I mean, what? You're a pumpkin. What are you?
Well, what are you? I'm me.
I am XX Black Ebon Reaper XX, the strongest ultimate fighter.
Stranger, I think in not fully mock shock, but like amazement, like but a little bit like overblown. It was like, oh well, and he takes his hat off and like bows low to the ground, and goes, "It is an honor to meet your. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Reaper."
Reaper is going to be visibly taken aback by this, but she wants to make it. She's trying to cover up the fact that she is surprised anyone actually treats her with this respect, as everyone usually is just like, sure thing, you know? So she's just like, yeah, that's more like it. I suppose you're not too bad, Pumpkin Man.
Tell me, how did you earn that title?
By being the strongest.
I imagine you have a number of kills under your belt then?
Of course. Who wouldn't? I've killed loads of people. Billions.
Billions, you say?
Yes. Like, she's very obviously spoken too highly, and now she's like, absolutely. I kill people by the hundreds. Whatever I want.
This is the 40-year-old virgin scene. I definitely have touched a boob. It feels like sand.
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Because they were weak, and they should be killed. Only the strong survive in this world.
Oh god, I'm on the team of the eugenicist.
I think Stranger cocks his head a bit and nods and says there is some truth to that, but it's not always just raw strength.
Oh, yeah? What happens where you're from, Pumpkin Man?
Oh, well, sometimes it's the clever to elude their... The clever can elude their hunter, lead them astray into their own trap.
Oh, defeating people with your mind. Is that what you mean?
Yes, or simply running.
Humph. Running is what cowards do. And I'm not a coward.
A coward may survive. The strongest fighter will eventually die. But then again, we all do.
Not me. I will become so strong, no one can kill me.
You wish to be immortal?
Well, of course. Isn't that what strong people would want?
I imagine it's quite lonely.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things are lonely. That's where I'm at my strongest.
So is that what you're doing here? Are you training? I would think that if you're at your apex, the strongest there is, nothing. You would have no reason to train. It seems a bit silly, isn't it?
Ha! Spoken like a mid-tier fighter. There are always new levels of strength to unlock. You just have to surpass your limits over and over again. And besides, I need to do something to occupy my time while I wait in this dump.
What are you waiting for?
Whatever they need me to do. Whatever silly, pathetic task I have to accomplish for everyone else.
Well, it sounds like you don't want to be here. Wouldn't you have more, I don't know, entertainment as a bounty hunter? At least then you would have targets to kill.
Perhaps, but there are reasons why I need to be here. I'm waiting for someone.
A traveler, perhaps?
Let's just say I'm on a list.
Ah, for Lillian's latest performance. You're here to see the show.
What? No. Were there shows? No, I don't care about the shows. I'm on the list to bring people back.
Fair is quite a skilled thespian. Maybe that would help pass your time a bit better.
Oh, yes? You seem to know this person quite intimately.
Oh, we're co-workers.
Yeah? Well, I've never seen you around here before. What is it you do, Pumpkin Man?
Oh, I'm new in town. I believe your people call it vibe checking. There's the people that are on the queue to bring back a loved one, a friend, a family member, you know. And we have to see if they are worthy of it, I suppose. And he says that a bit like derisively. Like he doesn't like the criteria that he says it a bit derisively, but doesn't really expand on it.
Sure. Reaper is going to kind of cross her arms and humph and be like,
I think I've heard people talk about it. It's some sort of kumbaya love mission you all do, right? To decide if people should be brought back?
In theory, I don't know if that is at least my criteria for it. But yes, in essence.
Well, let me make one thing very clear to you, Pumpkin Man, since you respect my strength. Understand that the person I'm bringing back doesn't go through your little mission. They come back no matter what.
Oh?
Yes, the deal I made is a clean ticket. There's no judgment put on them. They're coming back.
What deal did you make? I'm not aware of anything. As far as I'm concerned, I currently don't have a boss.
Well, maybe you do when you don't realize you have one. Everyone has masters.
Of course. Does not mean my master is here.
Are you referring to someone from back home, where the pumpkins grow? Are they all pumpkins?
Though some are, yes, some things a bit stranger. And he chuckles at that. Get it? It's my name.
Oh! But I don't think you gave me your name before. How could I have gotten the joke?
I did. It's stranger.
I've been calling you Pumpkin Man this entire time.
Yeah, I assumed it was a racist thing.
No, I didn't hear your name. Don't tell anyone that I am.
Have you been hanging around with that bartender?
So where are you from again? Tell me about it. The land. The scary land.
Oh, it's a, well, quiet place for the most part until it is decidedly not. If you catch my meaning. And he says that sort of dripping with, like, the implication that it could get ugly.
Yeah, it sounds like a real rough time.
Oh, if you don't know what to expect or how to carry yourself, you might find yourself prey. But if if you believe yourself to be, let's say, a predator, you may be disillusioned to that reality rather fast.
And you? Are you a predator?
I'm a teacher. I don't believe in ultimate strength or some silver bullet to solve your problems. Nature grows and changes, things live and die, nothing is static. I believe holding to stagnation will only bring your ruin at the end of the day.
And tell me, stranger, do you have family?
Oh, yes, I do. And I think you might like them.
I doubt it. A word of advice? Family is a crutch. They will always betray you. You're weaker with them.
Until you dispel that illusion, I don't think you really will be the strongest person alive. And then he slinks off.
Oh,
Oh yeah? Then why don't you fight me right? There we go.
Whoa, what's that? You want to fight? Okay, I'm an Allosaurus now. What are you going to do about it?
I do like the idea that she just starts shouting and just realizes you're gone and then just stands there kind of blankly. Like, oh, I'm talking to myself now.
I was half expecting. I'm talking to myself now. Good. The only person worth talking to. Back to the training montage.
Yeah. So, Dan, where would Stranger go next?
I think so. Stranger, everyone here so far seems to, except for I guess Reaper, has like a day job, right? And Stranger doesn't really have one yet, partially because he's too new. So I think his main marketable skills are that he's effectively like a doctor for plant people in a way. So I think he's trying to see if there is like an aid station somewhere he can find like employment in, or a garden he can start like working at. I think I pitched the idea that because this is in my mind at least partially inspired by Madison Hotel Pennsylvania, which is across from the Madison Square Garden, that there is the Madison Trapezoidal Botanical Garden.
What the hell was that?
The Madison Square Garden in New York, the big event venue. It's directly across from Hotel Pennsylvania. I'm just doing a fucking bit. The Botanical Garden's just
I was legit. I was like trapezanial guardian. I was trying to like type this out. I was like, I've never heard of this before.
Or you could just be at what if there is no established doctor's office in this place, which is quite possible. I think he might just go to Harper and go, "Can you throw together or get me in contact with whoever is managing this place? Really, I don't know quite the organizational structure here. Can I just get a room I can see people in? You've got a lot of people here. I don't know if you have anyone here in case somebody gets sick, and then you're gonna have a plague on your hands if it spreads."
Oh, yeah, sure thing. Well, you know what you could do? In the meantime, you can use one of these spare rooms, but if you're thinking something larger, I mean, we don't have no, management sort of thing, but you could talk to Parks. He's sort of the one who runs everything inside of the hotel. Oh, there he is right now, actually. And he's going to point over, and Parks, the robot, is going to be motioning towards you, stranger. It's "Oh, Mr. Stranger! Mr. Stranger! Could I borrow you for your time?"
Of course. Was this the racist robot? I don't remember.
Yes.
this is the racist. We can't keep labeling characters racist.
Everyone's racist towards Stranger. It just keeps happening.
fuck?
Look, I know what Stranger looks like. He's got a person's corpse inside of his chest cavity. That's about right. Yeah, he'll slide over to Parks and go, "What can I assist you with?"
He's like, well, I'm gathering all of you vibe checkers to discuss your next scenario, if you will. Endeavor, perhaps.
Well, I imagine Lillian's in the theater, and Hialeah, I believe, was having a bit of religious epiphany.
Ah, well, do bring them all here. It's quite imperative that you tarry forth, so to speak.
Yeah, Stranger will nod and then go to collect his team members.
So Hylia brings Barbella to the meeting for a minute, just being like, "Okay, so you said the orca punched the crab so hard they both died?"
I think so. I was busy. I'm pretty sure I was busy swinging the anchor at Grandma at the time.
You don't know if your friend is dead?
A lot happened. I just wanted to get the leg back to where the leg was meant to go. A lot happened around that.
Okay. Well, I think it's more dramatic if there was like 4 dead, if too many dead, and it's like overwhelming and not sexy. But you need to have some people dead, or like it's not fun.
Did you use the word sexy to describe the number of people dead? That's concerning.
I have a bad news for you about the serial killer fandom.
Hylia is slowly turning into Nightcrawler.
Oh my god. I wish I had the talent to pull that off. Oh wow.
Look, this is why I like this is why I follow the religion of the riddle snake. Sometimes it's better not to know things.
Do not shame her so much for not knowing if someone's dead. You'd be surprised what you can survive, and then in turn wish you died from.
In the background, Reaper just walking by to get a sandwich, completely alive. Everyone in the foreground arguing whether she's dead or not.
A stranger who literally just talked to her.
In Barbella's almost defense, like, there was a lack of consciousness and then was fine. I think for Barbella it's more a case of, was that death? Did dying happen there?
Did the real snake bring back Reaper?
Or does Barbella not have object permanence, and once Reaper left the room, she died?
Look, maybe a little of A, a little of B. Look, there's very little difference between healing magic and raise dead, The line is blurry. I say, realizing I'm pretty sure Barbella was the one to do the healing magic.
We both did, yep.
Just if Stranger's rounding everyone up on Park's behalf, like I keep just having the mental image of Lillian's gotten done with the rehearsal for the show and is kind of jazzed off of those good vibes of getting it all set up, and if Stranger comes looking for Faye, that just wherever we're gonna go, Lillian's just all right, it's time to skedaddle, and fucking does a fucking acrobatic pirouette just so I can. Basically, I just want to do an acrobatics roll to see if I can do a fun.
Just force the roll to happen
into the scene.
You pirouette into the scene.
Yes.
Oh
nice.
No, you botched.
Let's go.
yeah!
Stranger takes out his fucking sickle and shepherds crooks her off the scene like it's a vaudeville.
Oh no, we're going sickle mode here. Let's get out of here.
Okay, with that botch, I want to say you hit a table and an urn falls off and hits the ground and smashes.
God.
Wow. That's a terrifying prospect.
Right in front of the family member who we were gonna bring back today.
Inexplicably, there's already a little bit of a sign put up around the urn that's broken on the ground, and it's sort of staged out to be cleaned up. Boyce is already there. It's geez, that shelf was not sturdy enough up there. Why would we even put something high up there? And it's just
A little halfling child sees it happen and goes, "Grandpa, no!"
Grandpiece! Parks is going to immediately come by with like a dustpan and begin sweeping up and say, "Oh, fair lady, do be more careful around here. There's a lot of sensitive material around these parts."
I am so sorry. I just got a little excited. I just it's a bit of those pre-show jitters manifesting into a beautiful cartwheel that turned into a horrible accident.
Yes, well, perhaps save your theatrics for the stage instead of the front desk, so to speak. I tickled myself. Oh, are you all coming along on this? He's going to say to Barbella and Voice, like, are you here for? Are you vibe checkers now as well?
No, I'm just trying to remember facts because this one's asked me so many questions, my facts have jumbled a little.
I'm not really doing vibe checking. I'm doing compliance check-ins, just sort of a little hobby of mine. Are you aware that the polish on this particular part of the floor might be a bit too much? It might actually be a slip hazard. Just letting you know, you want to check that out there.
Yes, I will file a complaint over with Mr. Harper right away. I am glad to see that you are all doing well. I am also somewhat relieved to know you won't be joining because I only made 3 forms, and this is actually very important. And he is going to shuffle off some forms to the vibe checkers.
In order to like before heading off and getting out the way of this scene, Barbella will tap her new friend on the shoulder and be like, "I checked my list of spells. I can't bring people back from the dead, so they weren't dead."
All right, well, I'm going to say that you weren't sure because I think it's more interesting. I think you're an unreliable witness, and I think the fans will really have a great time arguing whether or not you're a liar or not.
Oh, so what you're saying is sometimes audiences like to have uncertain information and don't like to have certain facts for certain, and maybe they would like the riddle snake.
I think sometimes fans like to be mad at women. I think that's...
Barbella looks visibly disappointed and walks away.
Tyler, so mean.
I think as Barbella's walking her away, Stranger just turns to Lillian and goes, "Was she carrying someone's severed leg?" I mean, there's a lot of people here doing that, actually. But she had, like, metal banding on it.
I don't know anything about that.
Boyce will try to run after Barbella to comfort her in the face of all of this, just as he exit the scene, basically.
Never get this under the water. Above ground behavior.
This is land-coded shenanigans.
It's like, man, it really is better down where it's wetter, you know?
Lillian's gonna dust themselves off a little bit after that fucking just bozo ass display and be like, well, I would worry less about the leg that person was carrying and do more to care about what's on this form we just got handed.
Yeah, you taking a look at the form?
Mm-hmm.
Give me an intelligence check.
Straight intelligence check?
Straight intelligence check.
Okay. 24. No, that's 12.
The 24 is me.
That's how dumb I am. I read the wrong one. No, I'm not dumb.
So the party passes. All of you are able to glean from this form that this is like a waiver in case of your death, essentially. I should note for Stranger that you're able to like read through the legalese of this. I'm curious how Stranger knows this more than everyone else. But you're able to glean that this applies specifically to like non-vibe check things that go on the island. But also you can like read through this. You're like, a not great lawyer wrote this up. There are loopholes in this.
I see. I think maybe like okay, so let's see, how would Stranger in particular know that this is trying to specifically get out of non-vibe check related deaths, and it's badly written.
You're a lawyer, the scariest thing of all.
I was going to make that joke, god damn it. I'm too slow on the draw.
So because he's a druid, Stranger does have access to the language of druidic, and maybe in a fucked up attempt to hide some of this legalese, they just wrote it in a language most people can't speak.
Yeah, this was the equivalent of Latin, was Druidic. And they just assumed...
I was literally about to say, well, can you imagine hiding half of a profession in a different language? That'd be crazy.
And you're just able to go through this, you're like, some of these aren't even real.
Ipso facto.
Lorem ipsum.
I don't think I can sign a waiver saying you're not at fault if the building falls on me.
Oh, that wouldn't happen, of course. This is standard. It's just something in case, something were to happen with our next vibe check client.
Now, what I would like to know is why we didn't have to sign one for the last client.
Is this ink still wet?
I wasn't afraid of Hopper accidentally killing you, but I'm not as certain about your next client. Oh, and you will be needing these. And Parks is going to reach down and he's going to pull out 3 gas masks and hand them to you.
I see.
I don't have lungs.
Two of us don't have lungs.
How am I going to wear this on top of my other mask? It is also the thing that I used to cast magic, so I don't know how this is going to work.
He is going to look towards Hylia and Stranger particularly and say, do trust me. You are going to want to wear this.
I believe here in this contract, if you do not provide proper PPE for us, you're still at fault. Do these fit our body specifications?
Does this
Well enough.
Does this next client leak toxic gas?
Sorry,
Funny you should say that.
I think Stranger pulls a random person over. Would you mind being a witness for a moment? Did you say it is well enough?
Well, I've got to get going.
You said you grabbed a random person?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually want to establish the random person you grabbed because someone is looking for Wet Team right now. I'm going to put a picture into the Roll20 for us all to enjoy together. It's one of my favorite images that I have for the season.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, sea dragon.
Beautiful boy.
Yeah, it's a leafy sea dragon. So this is a kuatoa or fish person who has the kind of seahorse head with like the long snout, but they are like fully, the word that comes to mind is pimped out. They just have like a huge flowing purple robe and they have all of these appendages with what appear to be like leaves or fins on them. They're like very beautiful, but this person is like dressed up in a very official looking outfit, and as you pull them aside, they're startled and they're like, "Oh, unhand me."
Oh, this guy's definitely pregnant. Sorry, I just needed a moment of your time. Can you just confirm that what this man is about to say? Did you say that it should do well enough?
I just mean that there's straps on the back that you can tighten, of course, and there's more of you to ensure a tight fit. I would just don't stay too long. I think I heard the oven ding. I have to get going.
the leafy sea dragon like straightens his robes and says, "Well, I never. Have you seen any of the servants of the Church of the Rattlesnake? I'm looking for my flock. I am the Bishop Bitter Creek."
I believe I saw the big beefy one walking out that way.
Look for the person carrying leg, specifically a crab leg.
Ah, Barbella, my most powerful pupil. Yes, thank you very much. In the future, perhaps ask instead of grabbing someone. You've bent my leaves. All right, I'll see you later.
You leaved a bad impression.
Yeah. I like to think that the moment that the comment about the building falling down is mentioned, like there's an insert cut of like Barbella and Boyce is like, it's weird this building has like a load-bearing strand of wire in the middle of this open room that anyone can run into. I question the design here. The whole thing could just go down in just an instant. Just like... just how dangerous the gig apparently is to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we need to find a rather stinky petitioner, so shall we follow our nose?
Can everyone roll perception?
Like everyone?
Everyone.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Wait, Sarah, crit fail it. Intentionally crit fail it.
I'm sending psychic waves to crit fail it.
You did. You did.
2 crit fails in a row for Lillian. Oh no.
17.
18.
I rolled. Boyce rolled a 2. Just legit.
Yeah, so I mean, the Lillian crit failing, and this being a direct consequence of your previous botch, Sarah, is bad for you, because suddenly Lillian begins floating up off the ground and then is heaved across the gig. You are going to take 10 damage as you go through a table, alerting all of the characters in the area.
What?
Is she doing wire work? What's happening?
That's a great question. What do you do? Anyone? You all just seen Lillian be flung across the room.
This was not part of the rehearsal.
I guess I could cast Detect Magic and try to figure out what did it.
Sure. So you're gonna spend the spell slot?
Oh wait, I have Dispel Magic, not Detect Magic. Never mind.
Boyce has Detect Magic that they can cast and burn a spell slot to do. Let's see here. Yeah, Boyce will just do that. Boyce will cast Detect Magic as a ritual to figure out what in tarnation happened here,
All right, so you are going to cast Detect Magic, and you see a vaguely humanoid shape glowing. So you have your green prints that you can unroll and do some math or something to maybe like reflect light in such a way that you can see. There is some kind of magical signature, and it is like stalking towards Lillian again. It's once again a humanoid shape. I would say necromantic is the school of magic.
Stranger isn't aware of this, so he's just gonna go help up his friend who just got rolled into a table, I guess. Are you quite all right? Did you pirouette off stage? What happened?
Just Lily's just like, ooh, I was not prepared for that. No, I don't do wire work. That's too dangerous.
Oh yes, after all those peoples and man spiders turn off the dark, got injured.
No, hold on, Dan. I have a joke I was going to use at some point. Drider Man, turn off the Underdark. I don't perform that one.
Wow, that was too good to just waste on us.
You should have saved that for a better audience.
All right, Stranger, you go to help Lillian up, and then you need to make a strength saving throw as the humanoid necromancy thing tries to pick you up and hurl you.
Okie dokie. 8.
Nope, not doing it.
I'm made of sticks and vines. It's very easy to throw me.
Yeah, you all watch in horror as Stranger is thrown into the bar in the middle of the gig where the robot normally works. Or the robot works at the reception desk. Do we have a bartender?
Not established yet now.
All right, so you hit the bar, flip over it, and the unspecified bartender ducks down before we can get a good look at him. So we don't have to decide that right now.
Yeah, Barbella can drop down a spell I don't think I've had an opportunity to use yet. Fog Cloud. Barbella can create, let me pull this up, a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range, that heavily obscures an area and makes it very difficult for anyone to see. And I'm hoping we can all hide in the little fog bubble and be harder to hit by whoever's coming for us.
So yeah, people from the above and below the gig are all coming to see the disturbance because people are being thrown around. So everyone is here. Barbella, you drop a fog cloud to try to hide in, but now you can all see that there is something in the fog stalking around. So it is like vaguely humanoid, and it's picking up things. It's like picking up chairs and tables and throwing them at random patrons here.
You'll see in the background, Parks the robot is running around and grabbing a bunch of things, and then kind of cowering behind, like, "Oh, please don't damage anything expensive. Oh no."
Okay. So Stranger is going to crawl over the bar, drag himself over it, and wild shape into a saber-toothed tiger, which has the keen scent trait. So I can track things by scent at that point. And he's going to try to find whatever threw him and Lillian and maul it.
Yeah, I think probably that the thing you smell is when Lillian knocked over the urn, there was like a body part in there. It was like a mummified, a heart or something. And it when the urn shattered, it was released and you could smell those ashes. I think with the crit, I'm just going to tell you that this is a poltergeist. This is an angry ghost Lillian unleashed with the botch.
And because it's a ghost, I believe they are resistant to non-magical attacks, which I currently am. And Stranger's going to, I guess, sail into this fog as a leaping, viney tiger, with I think he doesn't have real saber-toothed tiger fangs. I think they're just two rusty sickles sticking out of an approximate pumpkin head.
This is the thing. Druids are normally humans who turn into animals. You're a pumpkin who turns into pumpkin things, right? You are fully orange, vined, saber-toothed creatureoid. You're in no sense a furry cat.
Yeah. So it's something that we haven't touched on much, but I think Stranger's alluded to is that part of his job back home was to grow younger members of his species, but also other sort of biome specific pumpkin related creatures. I'm specifically drawing on imagery of in 40K there's something called a Kroot, which take on aspects of things they eat, but they're a sentient race, so they're not getting an alien bug evolution Zerg type thing. And they have people whose job is specifically to go, okay, you're getting way too stupid, you need to eat someone smarter. And that's basically part of what his job is. And yeah, he's going to, I guess, maul this ghost because it's actively attacking people.
Lillian's going to put their hands together and be like, "I'm so sorry about cracking the urn earlier just now. I that was very stupid of me. I just wanted to show off some new moves that I learned for the show that I'm putting on tonight."
Max damage 17.
All right, paint me a picture of you banishing this ghost.
I think we established that it was an urn with a heart in it. So Stranger just kind of walks over, plods over to the heart in this tiger form, and scoops it up in his jaws and swallows it.
Oh, okay. I think the family took the actual remains away, I think.
Oh, okay. Then if that's the case, Stranger leaps through the air on viney legs, and like snaps his jaws around the neck of this ghostly apparition, and with like a quick jerk just kind of dissipates it like smoke.
All right, and we're already in the smoke because of Barbella's fog abilities. So all of that filters out, and you see the leafy sea dragon, Bishop Bittercreek, who is standing there watching Barbella, and like nods and says, "Wet team, come with me. We have an assignment," and leaves the scene. As the rest of you are, dry team standing there, and Hylia folds up her scroll and says, "Okay, so we do need to be careful with all of the bones and the organs and the ashes and the stuff, because this is an extremely hauntable building we all live in."
I think Stranger shifts back into his normal form and says, I think it might be a good thing I came here. You people need a consultant desperately.
I think Lillian's probably just like trying to find, what was it you said, like a little, like the grandkid of this ghost, trying to scramble around and like give them a tearful apology because they didn't
You killed my grandpa again.
I'm so sorry.
How could you do this? Now we're never gonna get him back. He's gonna fail the vibe check for sure.
We waited in line for this long, and now we're not gonna get it. Oh, this is the worst family vacation ever.
I'll never know where he buried the gold.
Lillian just like on the ground, like that pose where like you're like got your hands above your head just on the floor, just like, what can I do to make it up to you?
You can find my grandpa's gold.